on live. And that's a problem because consistency and quality wins the game, especially with social media, particularly with LinkedIn. So, why have I not gone live? And the answer is, and it's something that you might relate to, is that I'm busy and you're busy. All of our clients are business owners and CEOs and C suite. And you and I were busy. So the focus always for our business is going to be on getting into the routine of committing the most time to highest income producing tasks. So when you talk about, for most companies, what that looks like, unless you're enterprise, it's the C-suite and management. The highest income producing task is in sales and enrollment conversations, strategic partnerships, joint ventures, raising funds, merger acquisition, that kind of thing. Then as you move down the food chain, you walk into more of your corporate stuff, and that's content development, leadership, hiring, and the next level down. So where does going live on LinkedIn come in? It comes in as an activity that most people don't prioritize. Not only just going live on LinkedIn, but also producing content consistency on LinkedIn. Now, why is that crucial? And I'm not familiar with how to create an ROI and get sales from Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or TikTok or Pinterest. And now the other thing that Facebook just came out with, or I forget, I don't know what it's called. In any case, what I do know about, because we're one of the global leaders as a LinkedIn agency, is focusing on LinkedIn to produce outrageous thought leadership content, getting big views, getting branded as an expert and a thought leader, turning that visibility into more conversations, more appointments, and more sales. So if the formula works and the system does work, and it does, then what happens? Why do we stop working the system? And it's human nature. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's the kind of the way that we're structured. What happens when New Year comes around? Everyone starts a new workout routine, and you start for a while and you stop. Or if you're into eating healthy, you eat healthy for a while and then you stop. So there's many different facets of our life. If we look at routines, and we start and stop, start and stop. So it's natural that when we're looking at our organization, and not for the things that are like we're desperately necessary, which is sales, you can't start and stop sales, but the things that are biz dev that produce more sales are the things that we start and stop. Once again, I'm focusing on LinkedIn. Why am I focusing on LinkedIn? It's a good question. I'm going to go over the screen behind me as well, but let's just go over here and let's play this rather quickly. So let's cut back in. That's Gary Vaynerchuk. The YouTube video is available. Just look up Gary Vaynerchuk and on YouTube and LinkedIn, and he's got so many pieces of content out there. And what he's famous for is really understanding social media platforms and the cycle that they're in, and then what to do to fuel those social media platforms with what they need so they in exchange give you organic reach. That means visibility, that means eyeballs. And like I mentioned, I'm solely focused for the last 4 years on my own LinkedIn account. I've got probably over 6 million views of my content now. And 2 years ago, we started a LinkedIn content lead gen agency. We've taken now probably over 160 clients through our program. We're running 70 clients concurrently. And the focus is what Gary just said. It's LinkedIn, and the cycle that they're in is one where they're trying to optimize the news feed so they can optimize their advertising. Of all the channels, LinkedIn's advertising is probably least efficient. And so when you look back at YouTube and Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all these platforms, you see what they're doing. They're expanding distribution and more time on the platform and engagement so that they can speed up the news feed and optimize advertising. And this formula it's not a genius formula. It's the same formula that the first radio station used. Great content and great distribution, then you can kill it on advertising. But if you're lacking in one or the other, then you're going to struggle. So where do we find LinkedIn now is that they've got, I think, 900 million users. They're going to 2 billion. That's stated. Microsoft bought LinkedIn, and they have stated that they are going to go to 2 billion users. So there you go. There's your growth in distribution. Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $26 billion, which was the largest purchase of any company ever in the history of the world, which is pretty astonishing when you think about it, because it's larger than the purchase of an automobile company or pharmaceutical company. And why would Microsoft pay that much money and at that time make the largest acquisition ever for a social media platform? Well, some say because Microsoft likes businesses and they're an enterprise software, and that's probably some truth to that. But the real reason is digital advertising revenue. And if you look at 2020, Google did 140 billion roughly in digital advertising revenue. Facebook did like 38 billion, and then Microsoft and LinkedIn did 3 billion. So you pay 26 billion when you can take 3 billion and add 10 billion to it, 13 billion, or make it 20 billion. And there's no reason why they can't do it, but they just need to tweak the formula, which is more distribution, time on platform, engagement, speed up the feed so they optimize the ad platform. If it's an optimized ad platform, people will spend a lot of money if it's efficient. And that's going to happen. So during this period, as Gary explained, what is LinkedIn trying to accomplish? Well, we just shared that. So what are they rewarding us for? This arbitrage, this opportunity, is if we give them what they desire from a content perspective, then they ethically bribe us with organic reach. Organic reach means visibility. So they're giving you visibility and they're pushing you through the platform. Now, how does that benefit you? Well, it benefits you because what we're all trying to do, no matter if it's whatever marketing channel, if it's email or it's podcast or it's blog or it's social media or it's paid advertising, direct mail, it's all about eyeballs. Even TV, the Nielsen ratings, it's about eyeballs. So in many cases, in most cases now, you have to pay to get in front of eyeballs. So when you have an opportunity like we do now with LinkedIn, we're not paying. Now, we are investing. We're investing time, and then you also have to know what you're doing, because if you just are producing what I call social media diarrhea, then you will not get results. And what is social media diarrhea? It's people that are focusing on quantity over quality. If your content that you're putting on LinkedIn, once again, I'm specifically talking about LinkedIn, not the other channels. But if your content that you put on LinkedIn is not benefiting anyone, like more quotes of Tony Robbins, I think, Tony's great, but who needs more quotes of you or more quotes of Tony Robbins? Now, a lot of times these social media companies, they're going to charge, thousands of dollars a month to run social media. They're obviously getting paid by volume. because if you're posting once or twice a week, it's going to be less than you're posting 5 or 10 times. So there is this kind of battle between, okay, their business model is based on volume. However, it's not what LinkedIn wants. LinkedIn does not want average content on the platform because that's not going to move them towards more time and engagement on the platform. And therefore, you will not get organic reach. You will not get visibility with your LinkedIn posts that are average posts, quotes, or even worse, what I call stealing traffic from LinkedIn. Now, what is stealing traffic? How could you and I steal from LinkedIn? How can we steal from Microsoft? It's easy. We put a post up with a link, and it's an innocent steal. We put a post up on LinkedIn with a link to our blog. So now LinkedIn's objective is to grow the user base and have them spend more time on the platform. And here's your post. And if it's interesting, it says click this link or go to my blog, or go to my podcast, and you're taking people off of LinkedIn. You're doing the exact opposite of what they're looking to accomplish, what Microsoft spent $26 billion for. So do you think that they will give that post organic reach? Meaning, will they give more eyeballs to something that is going to actually leak or steal traffic from them? So the answer is no. So this is an important concept, and I played Gary Vaynerchuk because he's one of the authorities. He's actually the guy that 4 years ago I sat in New York City at Digital Marketers event. He was a keynote speaker for an hour and change with my wife, and he went through for an hour and a half why LinkedIn. So I walked out of there and I was like, this is a really unique opportunity, because I saw this movie before, because from 2008 to 10, I built the company with John Assaraf called NeuroGym in his backyard. And at that time, Facebook was going through the same cycle. And John was more of an advocate of Facebook than I was. And thankfully he was, because we were able to produce great quality content into Facebook, and we grew the fan page to like 1 million viewers. And every time we put a video post out of John teaching his amazing stuff, we'd have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people watching that training. And of course, from there, your objective is to ask them to take the next step, to grab a lead magnet or a PDF or the next step. So that happened for a couple years. And, at that time, we weren't, so tuned in to the business model of social media. We're just like, oh, Facebook is great. And then after a couple years, when Facebook exploded, they started taking the organic reach away and making people pay for those eyeballs. In other words, they swapped out all the organic reach in the news feed and started using more advertising. So we were making the same efforts. Instead of getting 10 or 20,000 views, it went 10,000, 5,000 views, 3,000 views, 2,000, 1,000 views. So 2 years prior, 20 to 30,000 views. After they got what they wanted, they stopped giving away organic reach, 1,000 views. That's the arbitrage. That's the window that Gary is talking about. Now, so going back to the beginning of this conversation, so why would someone like me, that we've got more than 50 people in our organization, as I mentioned, we're running 70 accounts. We're one of the top LinkedIn agencies. This is what we do. So why would me stop doing LinkedIn Live, which is it's a very effective communication channel on LinkedIn? Got busy. So how do we protect against that? Because if you're doing the right thing on LinkedIn, you will get and grow your business. You'll get your staked as a thought leader. You will, even on the business that you're doing outside of LinkedIn, everyone's checking LinkedIn to validate who you are and what you say you are, and if you do what you say you do, and looking at your reviews. So even if you're doing business outside of LinkedIn, LinkedIn's crucial. So then how do we put in place methodologies so we are going to be held accountable and we're going to have that discipline to put the quality out there? That's the question. And the answer to that question is through hiring a service, hiring an organization, hiring someone inside your organization, if that's the way you want to go at it, that's solely responsible for making sure that the content gets created and distributed. And it's someone that is going to hold you and me responsible, because push comes to shove, we want to do what we know is going to drive business. But it's really, biz dev on LinkedIn is like the second tier down. First tier is, what I got to do to make sales today? What do I got to do to grow the company today? That's first tier. Second tier is, all right, I've got an incredible opportunity. That's window's not going to last for very long. If I produce quality content and I know what I'm doing and I structure it right, I'm going to end up with hundreds of thousands of millions of views. I'll get staked as a thought leader. I'll be able to turn views into conversations, into many more appointments, and really, scale my sales. That's what we all want. So the answer to this question is, you either get someone internally that's going to be responsible for doing that, and then when you don't give them what they need, they're going to have, the gumption to basically call you out and say, hey, I need 5 pieces for the week and you didn't do it, but I need it. Like, I'm getting paid by you to do that. Or the other answer is to get a third-party service like us, which is done with you, done for you. And so we're doing a lot of the work that needs to get done, so you, even in this arrangement, continue to focus on your highest income producing tasks. So I thought, one, I would call myself out and just go and break down why it happened to me and why I fell, even with this crazy support team around me. I take responsibility for that. 2, it's likely why you're falling. And I know from our client perspective as well, even with our enormous team and the relationship we have, clients fall temporarily as well. So our job is just to pick them up. And then I wanted to parlay that with, Gary Vaynerchuk and his piece on this arbitrage, this opportunity to really emphasize the importance of LinkedIn now. And there's a lot of different things that you can do on LinkedIn. So we're not going to get a chance to go into all of that. And so I'll cover that on some other content and trainings. But I'll just put them out there. This is LinkedIn Live. It's an amazing channel. Slow and steady. The replays do great. And you will build a channel. So LinkedIn Live. You're posting on LinkedIn. So there's different types of posts on LinkedIn. And they go through cycles of getting more distribution from LinkedIn and less distribution. So for instance, you have different types of posts like polls. So polls 2 years ago didn't get a lot of views from LinkedIn. And then all of a sudden you saw a year and a half ago, polls. Why? Because people are smart. If they know LinkedIn's going to give those more views, then they do that. And all of a sudden you're seeing more polls. So they're getting less views now. Then also PDF posts that then shifted over to carousels, which are the ones that sweep. So 6 months ago, carousels were off the hook. And now they're still, better than a text-based post with an image, but now that's getting adjusted as well. Video posts usually get the least distribution out of the spectrum. But something's happening. And, like I mentioned, we have a lot of data. And we use Shield Analytics. Thank you for that great organization. We have all of our clients. We pay for it. So we're looking at the data constantly. And something's happening. LinkedIn is, likes video now. And so video is doing better. So even within LinkedIn, there are slices that, go through cycles in terms of the type of content, the channels, LinkedIn Live or the regular posting. And by the way, everything has to happen on your personal page. Your company page, you can post there also, but it's not going to drive visibility and sales. Then we got LinkedIn Newsletter. So LinkedIn Newsletter has been around for a while. And so recently, LinkedIn Newsletter is getting a lot of love. So there's a lot of opportunity. Most people can't do it all. but you should pick one thing and then really go deep on one thing and really perfect it. And so, you know, when I heard Gary Vaynerchuk speak, he said, if your lifetime value of your customer is 5,000 to 5 million and your customer's on LinkedIn, you'll be an absolute fool not to invest your time to learn how to get this organic reach and play in this arbitrage, because it will go away. So I encourage you now to step in, lean in. And, you know, like I mentioned, we've generated over 310 million views for our customers. I got customers that have blown me away, 15 plus million views, 10 million views. It's really an incredible time. Now, lastly, you can see behind me that, get my head out of the way, supercharge your speaking success. And this is the type of thing that should happen on LinkedIn. So this is Frank King, who's an amazing guy. He's a client that now has become a great friend, and we're actually partnering on a program that is coming out in the next couple weeks, and it's specifically meant for speakers. So if you're watching me now and you're a speaker, or you're watching the recording and you're a speaker, you want to find out about what we're putting together. So you can just put in the message below, hey Mike, I saw the live or the recording of the live, and I'm a speaker. And then we'll get some information out to you. It's going to be a free training that is awesome, and it's going to cover what Frank expertise is he's the leader globally. He holds the global record for the most TED Talks. He's got 2 more in the can that he's accepted. I think he's at 12. He beats Bill Gates. So it's going to take everything that Frank knows about speaking, understanding ideal customer, how to craft your talk, how to, you know, position yourself, raise your fees, and consistently get booked. And then everything that I know about how to do that and utilize LinkedIn as a channel to skyrocket your sales, get booked as a speaker. And yeah, so that's why I've got this behind us. Normally, I don't recommend at all using a green screen like I'm doing now. I actually can't stand it. However, I'm traveling. So I don't have a good background. So I have to go with something like this. But this is not something that everyone should do. On Zoom, the technology is a little better, and it's okay to do that. But you should, find a place where you can use a natural background so you don't get all this wavy stuff happening. And I've got quite the setup. I'm in London now. So if you're in London, give me a shout out. I'm with my wife and my little one. My wife is from London. So we're here for a couple weeks. We haven't been here since before COVID, so we're seeing family. And then we're going to Israel for about 8 days to see more family and have some fun and get connected into the motherland there in Israel. So in order to be super efficient while I'm on this journey, I made a big investment into equipment. So if you only could see what I have going on here. Anyway, if you're interested in what a traveling setup looks like, also put that in the link below. I will, if you ask me what I have, I'll give you the links of everything I bought because it's incredible. I've got the iMac Mini, which this crazy horsepower computer is way more powerful than my iMac. My Mac, this is a Mac Mini, than my iMac 27-inch. So I'm carrying literally, the little iMac. I've got two Logitech lights, Logitech camera, 2 portable screens that are US-based portable screens. The whole thing unfolds in 10 minutes, and it goes in my backpack. I don't let this out of my sight. But it's easy to set up, and I've got more power and more juice right now than I do even in my home setup. So this now becomes my permanent setup, but it's completely transportable, and it goes all in a backpack, which is pretty incredible. So, all right, that's today. So, I guess I'm going to put out there that I'm going to be back on track with LinkedIn Lives. We already have a full schedule for content production because for me and the clients, Monday, Wednesday is video day. So we always put out a video on Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and Tuesday, Thursday is text-based posts. It's written posts or posts with images or surveys or PDF posts or the ones that swipe posts. So any variation is Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We have our own kind of proprietary post that we do called Teaching on Top of Toto. And then we're running the LinkedIn newsletter on the first and third Thursday. So that takes up, those slots. We're posting twice a day. We're posting in the morning. We're posting our stuff in the morning. And in the afternoon, we're actually working with LinkedIn and we look for good content from other thought leaders and we share to, just be a solid citizen in the platform. So it's tough trying to balance out all the different components, but my commitment is at least once every other week to get back into live because it's an important component. Why? Because as you start to do it consistently, it builds, number one. Two, the format. So most of our training that we do on video, which is crucial to increase your sales, is the video aspect of it. It's 1 to 2 minute sound bites, teaching. This is a different format. So you get long copy, long video format, and you get a little different feel for what I'm sharing and what I'm talking about. And so it is important. It's just a question of finding now the slot and getting the consistency back. So bottom line, if your customers on LinkedIn and your lifetime value of customers is 5,000 to 5 million, as Gary Vaynerchuk said, if you're not dominating LinkedIn today, you're a fool. If you need help with that, then you let me know. Just put it in a message. Hey, Mike, I saw your video and what's the story? We'll communicate and see, if we're right fit to give you help with that. 2, LinkedIn. 2, consistency. So you just got to figure out what you can do, and then you just be relentless with your consistency. And then the third aspect is the quality. So you've got to produce quality. You've got to produce thought leadership or content that people want to listen to or read that's going to benefit them. If you're putting out something that benefits nobody, you're going to end up as a nobody. You're going to end up as your own best kept secret. And that's not a good way to go when you're trying to expand your viewership with the right customers. And just imagine having the ability to do that, expand with the right customers, and then have them know, like, and trust, and have you be able to indoctrinate them on what you do and how you do it. And have LinkedIn work with you and promote you through that system. It's magical time. So have an amazing day. Thank you very much. And we're on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn all the time. Hit me up in message. Hit me up in the comments below. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.